Yo, we just people from the north side. Once the Timmy's hit the shore fine. Winter ready on the four ties. Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just people from the north side.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your host, your boy, George Mackay. Now, this interview is pre-recorded, but it will drop sometime in March, maybe April. I have so much content out right now. It's awesome. It's exciting. But I have someone who I'm very intrigued to have on the show, someone who I've been following for a little bit, and I'm enjoying what she's doing out in Vancouver. Please help me welcome the Priestess Lee to Straight Talk Wrestling. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for giving me the time. You know, it's always cool to see what other provinces and organizations are doing in pro wrestling. And one thing that I love is that you are a wrestler, but you're also a valet. And I feel like now, especially in pro wrestling, the valet role is a lost art. We see managers, we see wisemen, we see all these things which are similar, but we don't see the true valet of the 80s. Do you yourself have an opinion on as to why the wrestling world moved away from the valet role and just now it seems to kind of have a little bit of a resurgence?
I mean, I think women became more prominent in actually wanting to wrestle too. And it kind of creates a little bit of a separation in terms of what your limitations are, I guess. But you're totally right. I agree. I do think it's kind of been a little bit of a lost art. You don't see it as often anymore. And when you do, it's pretty rare. Um, But I definitely love to be a part of kind of resurging that, especially in this area of Canada, because there's not many of us. Um, I think it's important. It just adds so much more dynamic to the whole thing. I mean, it's just more interaction. It makes it way more immersive. It's just all around. I love doing it anyway.
Now, you are valet for Taylor the Impaler, who is quite the imposing figure. I mean, I've seen pictures of the man and what I've seen on the internet. You guys are scary and you guys are all business when you walk out. Like, there's no bullshit with the Priestess and Taylor the Impaler. When you guys walk out, people are like, oh, business is about to pick up. And you love to get in the fans' faces. You love to get in the referees' faces. You love to make your presence known, which definitely probably helps Taylor on the upside, especially when the ref's back's turned. I'm not saying that Taylor does anything, you know, strategically wrong in pro wrestling because it's all really pro wrestling. But I mean, having you out there is a definite edge to what may have helped in a few victories. Would you not agree?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, the more the merrier, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So what is it about? I mean, when you walk out there, fans, wrestling fans, as we know, are very opinionated. They will say and do a lot of things. They won't cross the line, but they'll get pretty close to the line. Some might, but not everyone. When
Some
you're out
cross.
there and you've got, yeah, some do cross the line. Some are pretty disrespectful. I will say that. But there are some that understand the product and understand the enjoyment and the interaction. Like you said, that immersive experience. When you have a fan, you're walking by, you're outside, you're watching Taylor do his thing in the ring, and a fan's like, "You guys suck," and you hear that, you turn around and you play into that. How much fun is it for you to interact with those fans that really try to get under your skin, but you do a better job of getting under theirs?
Oh, it's everything. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I never thought I'd be doing it, but now that I am, it's just I can't stop. I love it.
You love to heckle people, eh?
I do.
What
I
is?
mean,
Sorry, go ahead.
it's so out of the ordinary from who I am, like day to day. It's almost like a nice outlet in a way where it's just you get to be a whole different side of yourself you don't really ever get to. So it's fun. You
I
get to
love
play
that.
with it. Yeah.
I love that. So where did the incantation of your character, the Priestess Lee, where did that all come from? Because I mean, everybody always says their character development or their character orientation is them just turned up. And it's turned up in many different ways. But sometimes people do work in almost another layer, almost another side of them, something that they've been too afraid to tap into in their own regular day-to-day lives that they can bring out in the wrestling world. Would that be what the priestess is about, or what is your incantation of her?
Oh, 100%. I mean, in my personal life, I am into spirituality. I love learning about life and how we function and all different kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm pretty open-minded, but the priestess, I get to kind of channel like that darker side of me, I guess. And I think that's why it's so enjoyable. I mean, most people try to hide that, you know? And in pro wrestling, I don't have to. So it's a nice balance. It is a part of me turned up a notch, but it's also like another outlet too for like a little bit of creative expression where you just get to have fun with the whole thing.
Creative expression. I love those. I love those words and those sayings because creative expression really is exactly that. You get to be creative in your own way, bringing parts of yourself to it, but adding that layer to make people remember you. Like I said, when you guys walk out, you're menacing, you're scary, you're dangerous, you're exciting, you're something that intrigues. And like I said, probably makes people step back and be like, "Oh, I gotta push away here because they mean all business." But the simple fact of having that creative outlet and then after, I'm sure when you're at the merch table, people are like, "Man, you were awesome. I loved how you did that." You know, oh, thank you so much. That's got to be the coolest part where people can play with the character and know that that is not you. Because there are a lot of people that believe that who you are in the wrestling ring is exactly who you could be the most standoff, arrogant, smug person in the wrestling ring. When you get to the merch table, you can be sweet as a kitten. And some
Yeah.
people don't really see that. Is that the vibe that a lot of people get from you? Like, I didn't expect you to be as sweet as you were.
Oh yeah, especially the little ones. They're always like very hesitant to come up to me, but once they do, they know that's not really who I am.
Nice. I like that. So you mentioned being open-minded and spirituality and learning how, we function and everything like that. And the priestess being the darker side that you get to tap into. Is there level ups that you have planned or more layers you want to add to her in terms of maybe bringing some of that dark side in, maybe, promos or vignettes when you can curse a upcoming opponent and all that kind of stuff? Like, are there more layers to, I mean, the priestess can go anyway. She can go Wicca, she can go voodoo, she can do the shaman, she can do all these kind of little things, especially like the native shamans and all that kind of stuff. She can go so many different ways and to control and overwhelm the opponent. And it's exciting to think about what promos and what vignettes you could possibly cut in the near future. Even when you yourself do get more time in the wrestling ring and you maybe step away from that valet role, there's a lot to explore here, and it's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, totally. Especially too with all the other members of MOT. I mean, we have the largest faction right now in the world in pro wrestling history, and it's nice because wherever I do end up working, whatever promotion, usually there's more than one of us. So like we get to add on layers too of whatever their character is and like work with that. And it's awesome. The sky's kind of the limit with where that gets to go.
I like that. How many members are there of MOT right now currently?
Oh, I think we're close to 70, maybe at 70, just below it.
Yeah, so you guys are like the a modern day more intrusive Bullet Club because Bullet Club had members everywhere for a while and now it's kind of shrunk down to almost pretty much nothing. But MOT is growing and you guys are adding members on a pretty regular basis if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, yeah, it's been nice and steady lately.
I like that. It's been like that. Like applications are just flying in. Jobs are being filled. So,
Yeah.
I mean, MOT. I see a lot of people that could at any given time be leaders of certain sections of it. But I mean, for some people who don't know and who don't follow the faction, like I said, I did my research, so I know a little bit. Is there really one true head of this family?
I mean, Jordy Taylor is the founding member. I mean, he's the one who came up with the whole creative concept in the first place, but he does like to encourage everybody to kind of pour themselves into it however they want to and roll with it. And because that's been the case, like I think that's really why it's trickled so quickly.
I like
Everybody's
that.
kind of taken it off, sprinkled their little bit of magic in it, and yeah, it's awesome.
Well, that's great. Then there has to be an MOT t-shirt sent this way, sent over here to Ontario, so I can start. I could be the first podcaster in MOT. Wouldn't that be awesome? That'd be cool, right?
That'd be cool, yeah, for sure.
So Jordy Taylor, not only is he the founding member of MOT, and again, for some people who don't know what MOT stands for, can you please enlighten them as to what MOT stands for?
MOT stands for the moment of truth.
Moment of Truth, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty awesome. So Jordy, not only is he the founding member of the Moment of Truth, MOT, but he's also your trainer or one of your trainers, correct?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I have to ask this because, like I said, you seem so sweet, you seem so nice. But again, I've seen highlights and I know what you can do in that wrestling ring, both as a valet and as a wrestler. But what makes you have to be a different, special kind of person to love the sport that we love so much? I talk about it. I can never do what you guys do in the ring. I can never do that. I can never be a menacing figure. I'm too sweet. If I shave this off, I look like I'm 12 years old, 150%. So, what you guys do in the ring is special. That character development, I'm always intrigued by it. I love it. Again, I love the layers and exploring all these things. But I mean, what made the priestess want to step into the squared circle?
Honestly, it was not ever something that I initially wanted to do. I mean, when I met Jordy, I wasn't into wrestling at all. I mean, I didn't even know he was a pro wrestler at first. So when he told me, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I thought it was just a hobby. I didn't really look much into it. And then I had gone to one of his first shows and I was like, oh, like this is way more than what I thought initially that it was, you know? But I just started off as like a supportive girlfriend and I just went to watch him perform. And then it eventually transpired into him suggesting I valet. So I tried it. I tried it once. And I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing at all. So I was like embarrassed. I felt dumb, you know. And I let it go for a while. And about a year later, maybe, it popped up again. He's like, hey, you want to valet tonight? And I was like, I mean, I guess so. Why not? I'll give it one more shot. And I did, and it just took off from there. And opportunities just slowly kind of spiraled into me being in the ring. It wasn't really something that I thought I'd ever do at first. I was okay with valeting, just being on the outside. And then I started doing more spots here and there, and it was kind of fun. And then I had like opportunities coming my way, like, hey, you ever want to get in there? Because we could use you. There's not a ton of women right now at the time. And it just worked out. I don't know. It just kind of came to me and I just followed it. And here I am.
And you know what? That I hear that more often than not about like, I met someone who's involved in pro wrestling or I started dating someone in pro wrestling, and then it just kind of trickled. And I hear it from both sides of the fence. I hear it from both guys and girls. Like, I met this girl, she was into pro wrestling and I wasn't really into it, or I've been a fan my whole life. So it's always kind of cool to hear everyone's different experience. But you know what? I will say this, you took to it. You took to it with some flair and some dynamics. And you've also been able to probably meet and conversate with a lot of cool people. Like again, in creeping your Instagram page as I always do, because sometimes there's not a whole lot of research on indie wrestling fans. I noticed that you got to meet Serena Deep. And I've met
Oh
her
yeah.
before. I've called one of her matches. She is dynamite. She is fantastic. She's one of the sweetest people, but also has a great and I think underrated wrestling mind. What was it like to, I mean, share a locker room with Serena Deep, maybe ask questions, learn from that specific learning tree for you to help you elevate in this business?
Oh, it was great. I mean, she's such a kind and humble person. It was easy to learn from her. I mean, it's not like she really focused on that too much. It was a busy night, so we didn't get to like conversate too much about wrestling, but we hung out a little bit and getting to watch how she's like her technical ability is just she really is outstanding. She totally is. And she's in like a I would say she's like in a category of her own. There's not a whole lot of women out there that have the kind of technical ability that she does. So yeah, she's very unique.
Unique. I love that word. I love that word. Unique.
Mhm.
We're flowing right now. We're cooking with gasoline here. This is great. I'm loving this. So you mentioned unique, and again, MOT, very unique, 70 members strong now. But what I couldn't find is that a lot of the members, some are stationed stateside, so a lot of them are in Vancouver, but then there seems to be a mix of a little bit of everywhere. But I don't notice anything in Ontario. Do you guys have a plan to bring the MOT north side here? Are we going to get some stuff going? For you, it would be east, more towards the east coast, southern, central Ontario. But do we have plans to get any MOT up in here in Ontario? Has there been any talks with any promotions out here?
Oh, I mean, it's never off the table. It's never off the table. People are wanting to join all the time. And I mean, we're reaching out to people all the time too. So I don't doubt that it'll be something you see in the future at all.
I like that because Ontario's got a pretty strong scene out here, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of. But I think the Priestess Lee could mix it up with a lot of. There's some fantastic female talent out here. Alexi Nicole, Crystal Moon. There's a whole bunch of ladies out here that are very strong. Plus Quebec. Quebec has an amazing scene as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
So I mean, what about you yourself? Are you prepared to start going more outside of Vancouver, more outside of your comfort zone, and start exploring what is out there for yourself as well?
I mean, currently at this current point in time, I'm out of the ring. I'm actually almost 20 weeks pregnant.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
thank you. Thank you so much.
I didn't want to.
Um,
I did see a trickle of that somewhere on the internet, but I didn't want to bring it up unless you were prepared to bring it up. So there you go.
yeah, no, no. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm not actively in the ring, but I've still been valeting, getting some work in here and there. And still trying to be active in other ways. But when I'm
Nice.
back, absolutely, yeah, I want to branch out as far as I can.
I love that. I love that. So now we know that there's also another member
Yep.
preparing to make their grand entrance right now. I mean, what are you hoping for? Are you hoping for boy or girl? Just as long as it's healthy.
As long as it's healthy,
I
I'm
love it.
good.
And you're gonna wait. Are you gonna be surprised or do you know already?
I don't know yet, but I do want to know.
You do want to know, right? You
Yeah.
want to make sure that, you just don't want to buy yellow. Let's be honest. You don't want to just buy those neutral colors. You want to be able to sit there and be like, okay, I need a lot of, blues and blacks and reds, or I need a lot of pinks and soft. Yeah, I get it. Like I said, I have two daughters, and my wife and I did not want to wait. We wanted to find out so that she could decorate with the pinks and the purples and all that kind of stuff. And I left her up for that. That was her thing. All I did was just they're both daddy's girls. I mean, one of them's
Yeah.
16 now, so not so much a daddy's girl anymore, but my 8-year-old I'm still clinging on to that for a few more years. So, and the whole family's wrestling fans, which is cool because we go to shows together as a family. When I do commentate or when I do work, they come to the shows with me as well, which is great. It's always a great experience for the whole family. So, what is brewing right now, I'm sure will fall in love with pro wrestling just like his or her parents did, 100%.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be awesome.
It will. I mean, usually kids will flourish with whatever you show them. So if you start like, I mean, once the baby's born, if you start just playing wrestling in the background, eventually they're going to start paying attention. So just start throwing on some classic
Oh yeah.
matches, and they'll get hooked. Speaking of classics, and again, never wanting to step into the ring, but then stepping in and training and all that stuff, and now you're out of the ring currently right now, but still being involved in wrestling. Have you gone back? Have you picked some of your favorites? Do you have someone you idolize or someone you kind of, I guess, your move set when you were in the ring that you were working with in order to that somebody that inspired you?
I mean, there's been lots of women that inspire me. I have watched a lot of like I love Gail Kim. I think she's awesome. Um, who are some others? I mean, I just love China was really the most influential initially. I wasn't really into wrestling growing up, like most people have been, but she's always been a prominent figure. She's the one that caught my eye when I was like 3 years old and my grandma was watching wrestling. She had all her buddies over. I was like, who is she? Like, there was nobody like her. And so she just set a standard that just was like etched into my mind. So I think she'll always be up there at the top. But yeah, Gail Kim. I really like Julia. I like her style. She's awesome. Who are some others? They're probably my two most prominent. Also, lately, I've been really into Megan Bain. I think she's pretty good too.
Megan Bain is pretty solid. I will say that. Yeah,
Coming
I'm
up.
right there with you.
Yeah, yeah, I like her.
That wavelength is solid. That wavelength is solid. See, you know what? Again, it doesn't matter when you get into wrestling. You always have your favorites, and everyone seems to kind of gravitate to things. And you're right. China was, when I was a kid, China was a big influence. I'm a big DX fan. I'm a big Triple H guy. So China was very prominent in my early days of loving pro wrestling. So that I could see why. She's still very much larger than life. She is the ninth wonder of the world. I mean, you don't get a nickname like that without it meaning something, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So 20 weeks pregnant, we're having fun, we're relaxing, we're having the baby, brewing and stuff like that. Is there any weird, I'm always intrigued by this because my wife didn't have too many weird cravings. Do you have any weird cravings that you're going for? Like 2 in the morning, you wake up, you're like, oh man, I could go for a Whopper right now. I don't know what it is. I'm just craving like a Burger King Whopper.
No, not really. Just lemon, like citrus. Anything citrus, it's just all I've wanted.
That's it, eh? Just anything citrus. So lemon, lime,
Lemon,
oranges.
lime, oranges, yeah.
Yeah, nice. I'm a blood orange guy myself. I do enjoy the blood
Me
orange,
too. They're the best. They're the
right?
best.
People underrate the blood orange, but I think it is a fantastic fruit.
It is. It's superior
That's
to
it.
all the other oranges.
That's it. You see, everyone needs to wake up, give blood orange a little bit of love. Okay, yeah, I get it. The name's not exciting. Blood orange. It makes you think you're like, oh, what am I eating? But it's so good. It is so damn good. God, I love it. I love it. So my sister actually is in Vancouver. She moved out there. She's originally from Ontario, but she's in Vancouver right now. But
Okay.
Vancouver has some of a great wrestling scene that's kind of brewing and growing and very much getting up. What could someone like if I'm trying to sell an Ontario wrestling fan or even a wrestling fan in general, what would you say about the Vancouver wrestling scene that a lot of us out here may not know if we haven't experienced it for the first time?
Um, I mean, I think it's pretty diverse, which is nice. I mean, you get variety in terms of if you like more classic style wrestling, or if you like more of like the high flying. Or if like there is like merging of like not cosplay, but like kind of cosplay, a little bit of drag as well, that kind of performing. So that takes it to like a whole nother creative level if that's your thing too. So it's very diverse here for sure, is what I would say.
I like that. There's a lot of layers to explore in terms of a wrestling fan. There's a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, oh, hardcore stuff too. So like whatever you're into in wrestling and what kind of niche you're into, you can find it.
Nice. Okay, that's
Yeah.
perfect. That's perfect. One more question. I'm gonna let you go relax for the rest of your Sunday. But again, I do want to take this time now to thank you for joining me today and to say that you are officially a member of the Straight Talk family. So when you're ready to get back in the ring and the priestess is ready to make her grand entrance, you got to come on back and tell me all about that, okay?
Oh, definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. My final question is when I look at everything that MOT is doing now and the movement that it makes and the movement that it stands for, and 70 members strong, like you said, what is really the end game for MOT? Is it just to take over the pro wrestling world and make everybody realize that MOT is as strong as people may not realize? Or does Jordy have an alternate game that maybe none of us are aware of?
I think right now it's just a matter of dispersing ourselves anywhere and everywhere. We want to be the largest faction. We want everybody to know about MOT. We want to know, or we want everybody to know what we're all about. And right now, I think it's currently just about expanding, but that might not be where it is in the future.
So expansion for now, but we
Yeah,
could potentially have just a mass army that could take over the pro wrestling world at any time.
we could.
So this could potentially be like a new world order versus the entire wrestling world. Wow. This is intriguing. There's a lot of rabbit holes that you could climb down. Conspiracy theories, go. Conspiracy theorists, do your thing. There's so much here you can do. But Lee, I want to thank you so much. I know this was short, sweet, and simple, but that's what I like to do sometimes. Conversations are relaxed, very easygoing. And it also with the world's attention span these days, 20 minutes is a long time.
Yeah,
So I mean, we could lose somebody after 5 minutes. So this is good.
that's
but
perfect.
but while you are, getting ready to introduce a new member of MOT to the world, where can the world keep up on you and MOT's experiences as they expand, as you said? Is there anywhere that you want people to follow you or to look for you? I mean, obviously your Instagram would be one, so you can go ahead and shout those out.
Yeah, Instagram would be one for sure. I mean, if you're local to the Vancouver or Vancouver Island area, definitely check out Canadian Apex Wrestling, Vancouver Island Pro Wrestling. We're there most of the time. Or yeah, our Instagram handles. There's a Moment of Truth Facebook page, so definitely check that out. That's where you're going to see what everybody's up to. Um, Find links to their socials as well, or Facebook. I have a Facebook page too, Priestess Lee.
Amazing. Lee, thank you so much for joining me. And I mean, I don't have a whole lot of members in my faction, but you're now a member of the Straight Talk family, so that's huge, right? Are you okay to be in both factions? Like, you're not getting in trouble, right? If you're in the
No,
Straight Talk family?
that's
All right, good.
perfect.
Perfect, perfect. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Peace, love, and wrestling. We'll see you next time. Peace. Thank you so much. I hope you had fun.
Oh yeah.
Yo, we just people from the north side. Once the Timmy's at the shorefine. Winter ready on the four ties. Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just people from the north side.